So you're thinking about moving to Northern Colorado, or maybe you're already planning on moving here, and you're not exactly sure the location of where you're going to be is in relation to everything else in this great state of Colorado. Then you're going to want to stick around because in this video, I'm going to share with you the 5 main counties in Northern Colorado, exactly where they're located. And then we're going to jump into the map and I'm going to show you proximity as to where you're going to be located to things like ski resorts, national parks, the airport, and all of the really cool stuff that Colorado has to offer. And if you stick around until the end, I'm going to share with you a hidden gem that most people don't know about. And we're going to get after it right now. Hey, if this is your first time to the channel and you want to learn everything there is to know about living in Northern Colorado, then make sure and subscribe below, tap the bell for notifications so you'll be the first to learn about the current market in Northern Colorado. My name's Jeff and I get calls, texts, and emails from people like you all the time who are looking to make their move to Northern Colorado, and I love it. So whether you're thinking about making your move in 9 days or 90 days, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, or set up a Zoom call down in the description below. I would love to help you make a smooth move to Northern Colorado. Okay, here we are inside the entire state of Colorado. I had to put a sweatshirt on. It's a little chilly. As you can see here, this is the entire state with all 64 counties in the state. Where we're going to be most focused on here is the northernmost portion of the state. I guess you could say northeast portion, which encompasses all 6 counties right here. One interesting point to point out here is the newest county to the state of Colorado, which is the county of Broomfield. Beautiful area. This was incorporated as its own county in November of 2001. So there's a little hidden gem fact for you. What we're going to do here is I want to point out Larimer, Weld, Logan, Morgan, Boulder, and Broomfield, where they are in relation to everything else in the state. Now, most people are like, well, where's Denver? Well, Denver's right here. It's actually not in the middle of the state, as most people think. It's really towards the northern part of Colorado. However, again, for the sake of where we cover, we're going to be covering a little bit north up here. So there we are in Denver. Also, people ask, well, where are all the mountains? Colorado is so mountainy. You'll see Summit County right here, Clear Creek County, Lake County, Eagle County, Pitkin County. This is really where you're going to see a lot of the ski resorts. And I'm going to draw this line here because this is really where we see the divide of the Rocky Mountains, which many of you know, the Continental Divide does run right through the state of Colorado. So this is where we're going to cover. We're going to shift into the actual map itself. We're going to start down here in Denver. We're going to hit the airport. We're going to hit national parks. We're going to show you a few things along the way and give you a really good picture of where things are situated in Larimer, Weld, Logan, Morgan, Boulder, and Broomfield counties. So let's jump into the map. Here we are inside of Google Maps. We're going to take a satellite view to get started. We'll zoom into Northern Colorado here in just a moment. But before we do that, I wanted to point out a few interesting facts about the state of Colorado, and especially where it is in the country relation to so many other states out there. So if you look here, you see Wyoming, Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Kansas, and Nebraska all surround the state of Colorado. Also, you'll notice the Rocky Mountains that cut right through the middle of the state, which of course is one of the many reasons why so many of us move to Colorado. Now, before we get to the northern portion, I want to show you something really cool here, and this is called Four Corners. This is an area that doesn't exist anywhere else in the country. It's where 4 states all come together, and it's actually a landmark. You can go and visit it. You can actually have all 4 body parts, an arm, a leg, another arm, and another leg in all 4 states at the same time, if you want to play a little game of Twister. But I wanted to point that out because that's a really cool fact about Colorado, is that it does exist as part of one of the 4 corner states. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to zoom in here. I'm going to show you, just generally speaking, how easy it is to get around. It's very, very simple, actually, to navigate from we're going to start in Denver. We're not going to talk too much about the southern portion of the state, which is a gorgeous area as well, but we're really going to be focused on going from Denver up to Fort Collins and the surrounding areas in here. All right. So as you can see, as we are zooming in here, I will get my pen out and we will make this a little more enjoyable for your viewing and listening pleasure here. All right, so as we talked about before, the Rocky Mountains really start right here. I'm sure most of you are familiar with Boulder, which is included in the portion of northern Colorado that we're talking about. So I'm just going to draw this line here to give a general idea of where the Rocky Mountains are. Now, this is what we call the foothills. This front area of the mountains all the way up on this side of the Continental Divide is really called the foothills. And those are the views that we get as we are traveling up and down the Front Range, which is here. Now, as we mentioned before, Denver, again, in the northern portion of the state, and yet not as north as we cover in our real estate business, although we have partners not only in Denver, but all over the state. So if you are thinking about making your move anywhere in the state, make sure to reach out to me using the link down in the description. Schedule a call, text, email, Zoom, whatever works for you, and we can connect you with one of our partner agents anywhere in the state. Okay, so here we are with Denver, and here we are in Fort Collins. Now, this commute, depending on traffic and depending on what route you take, can take anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour, hour and a half, possibly even longer if there are accidents. Now, the main highway to get up from Denver to Fort Collins is Interstate I-25 right here. And as you can see, it really is a straight shot all the way up to Fort Collins. Now, multiple highways, or I should say, other interstates, smaller highways. There are some ways to get around I-25, but for the most part, unless you're going to be on the eastern portion, you're really going to want to take I-25. So let's back out of here. We're going to actually get on the highway here. We're going to take a little drive. So let's zoom in here a little bit more. Now, I did mention to you, we're going to talk about the airport. So in relation to, most people think the airport is right in Denver, which it's actually not too far. If you look at Denver here and you look, it's right across here. This is Denver International Airport. If you've never flown into DIA, it is a very busy airport. So make sure and give yourself time. It's pretty easy to get around once you've been there a couple times. There is a train that takes you from baggage claim to the terminal and so forth. So you can make sure where you're going there. But here's what we want to do. We want to make our way from Denver all the way up to the northern portion of the state. So how are we going to do that? Well, what we want to do here, let me back out, is we're going to zoom into the airport right here. And as you can see, there's really only one way in and one way out. This is called E470. Okay, this is E470. And you can see it comes into the airport from down south. It also comes into the airport from the northern section. So as you're coming out of the airport, you're going to head north up E470. It is a toll road, so do expect to pay some tolls along the way. And here's where it gets a little interesting, because you can take I-76 north if you're going to be up in the more eastern portion over by Logan County, as I showed you in the map previously. Or you can continue on E470 up across 85 right here, or take 85 north. Now, this is a smaller highway. It's a 2-lane highway, which does go exactly the same direction as I-25 over here, which we're going to get over to in a second. It does take longer, and that's why most of the time, most people are going to take I-25. All right, so E470, this takes about 30 minutes or so. Again, depending on traffic, you may be able to do it in 20 to get to the I-25 junction right here, which I'm going to zoom out and then show you what the straight shot looks like and take you into a few places that I mentioned before, national parks, ski resorts, and give you really the lay of where everything is, because Colorado can be a very I don't want to say confusing state, but with the mountains and things like that, things can get interesting as far as how you get around, and you certainly don't want to get lost. So, all right, let's back out of here. I'm going to zoom out. We're going to start back at I-25. Okay, let's make our way up to Fort Collins. We're going to start again in Denver. So here we are in Denver. It's going to be down here at the bottom of the screen. And as I mentioned, I-25 also runs all the way into Denver, but we came from the airport over here. And as I mentioned, here is E470 that connects with I-25 right here. Now, you could take this all the way down into Denver and then cut across on I-70 and do this. This takes way longer. You don't want to do that. Trust me, going up here to Fort Collins, I've done this and gone the wrong way, and sometimes it's added an hour to my drive. So E470, again, cutting across here, this is a major junction. You head up on I-25 here. Keep going north, 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 and you're going to start to hit some towns where you're getting into really the northern portion of where we focus on. Berthoud, Johnstown, Campion, Loveland, and so on up through Tinmouth, Severance. Now we're looking at Eaton, Greeley. You've probably heard of some of these. Let's see. You've heard of maybe Silverton, Telluride. These are some of the smaller ski resorts. I know what you're really looking for is Aspen, Vail, and so forth. So Aspen you have right here, Breckenridge. Most of what you'll see ski resorts wise is going to be I-70 going west. Okay, this cuts through, this goes all the way through and then hits. This is the Utah line right here. They have Moab, which is about an 8-hour drive, and so forth. So Aspen, Telluride, Silverton, Breckenridge. We're going to get back to our trek from Denver all the way up to Fort Collins. All righty. All right, I wanted to change colors. I think we understand where the mountains are. And as we've been continuing up Interstate I-25, I wanted to bring a few things to your attention along the way. So if you see here, Boulder's really the furthest north that we are looking at from the standpoint of separating where we help buyers and sellers and people move. This is just a general, it actually goes up higher than this because we do cover up I-25 here into Wellington, which is about the furthest north that you can get in the state of Colorado. So that just take this with a grain of salt. This is a very general drawing here of the areas that we cover. But this should give you an idea. I mean, I-25, as you can see, is cutting right up the middle of the state here. So within this area here, there is so much to cover. We can't do it all in one video, but I want to give some of the highlights and some of the bigger towns along the way. If you're thinking about moving and you need some idea of again, where everything is and what are some of the more popular locations and so forth. So as we're getting from Boulder, obviously Boulder, fantastic. I'm gonna have a separate video for you that will cover all of Boulder here. As you can see, I mean, look at, this is a very busy area, okay? And it was gonna require its own video, which we will be in Boulder. We will get you that pretty soon. Just don't have it right now. There's only so much that we can cover in a map video. Some of the bigger towns along the way as you're heading north: Frederick, Firestone, Dacono, Fort Lupton, Platteville, Gilcrest, LaSalle, Evans, Greeley, Lucerne, Eaton, Alt, and Pierce. These are the main ones along the eastern portion. So this is Highway 85 right here. As I mentioned to you before, is another highway to go north. All of these towns are along Highway 85. There also are, for the most part, smaller towns, with the exception of Greeley. Greeley is a very large city in northern Colorado. And you can see by the streets here and so forth. You can also access getting to Greeley and this section here right off of I-25. This is Highway 34. I won't get into too much detail about Highway 34, but this does get up into Estes Park. This is how you would want to travel to Estes Park. You can also take Highway 66 up through Lyons, beautiful, and then through the mountains. Now, of course, this is going to take longer. Sorry. Beautiful drive all up into Estes Park. Rocky Mountain National Park is, for the most part, I'm going to say it, it's the best national park in the country. And it's located within an hour of Fort Collins. Super easy to get to, either taking 287 or I-25 to Highway 34, straight up through Drake and into Estes Park. Beautiful, beautiful area, beautiful drive. Now, on the west side of I-25, we're looking at towns like Erie, Niwot, Longmont, Meade, Berthoud, Campion, yes, small town, Loveland, Windsor. Oh, I forgot Johnstown and Milliken. Sorry. This is kind of in the middle. It's not necessarily 85 and not necessarily I-25. Severance and Timnath. We also have Masonville, Glen Haven, Allens Park. We do cover Jamestown, Lazy Acres, and Altona as well. And so as you can see, there are so many towns up and down, as we called the Front Range here. This area right here, this drive all the way up. I know this is looking like a third grade drawing at this point, which is kind of funny. So here we are. This is the map. This is the portion of northern Colorado that we are focused on. We're going to have more content for you as we continue to visit more areas. We're going to have inside tours of some of the highlights in all of these areas. But this should give you an idea of what's in these counties up north. This most specifically, Larimer, Weld, and Boulder. We'll have more videos for you coming up, and we're going to get deeper into this map and show you some specific things along the way. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure and hit the subscribe button down below and tap the bell for notifications so you'll be one of the first to know about everything going on real estate related in northern Colorado. And until next time, we'll see you.